Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Hot Mic with Lady She podcast. I'm your girl, Lady She. I am excited for my second episode of the Men Where Art Thou series. I have officially made April the month for the men. It may change later on, but that's what I'm sticking to right now. That is what we are officially doing for 2022. This is the vibe. This is the energy that I'm looking for. I have such a heart for the men. I shared on my Instagram, I believe, or maybe my Facebook as well, that I feel more and more as I get older, as I grow, as I encounter the males of the world, that there's a reason that God gave me boys. There's a reason that He made me a boy mom. There's a reason that I'm smack dead in the middle of two boys growing up. My youngest brother and then my oldest sibling, my oldest brother. And there's also a reason that I was like the only granddaughter for like 20 years or so, maybe a little less. I just always had a heart, always been protective of them. I've always, to me, I feel like I've always wanted to understand them. And that's probably also what made me like kind of be attracted to the wrong type of guys, because I always wanted to understand, why did they behave the way they did? Why did they speak the way they spoke? Why were they a certain way with their parents? Why were they broken? Why were they this? Why were they that? Like, I was always so curious when it came to the guys. So I am super excited, on tonight. This will be my second guest. This is going to be fun. This is going to be really fun. I've known him for a very, very long time. Always been solid. He's everybody's favorite DJ in Hempstead. He's from my hometown. He's also a part of the board. He's a trustee on the board in Hempstead. And he just doing big things. Like, he just came through for me. We both make shirts. He just came through for me for a customer at the last minute. And that's what it's about. It's about iron sharpens iron. It's about everybody, being able to be there for each other and creating better communities for us. So, without further ado, introducing to some and presenting to others, DJ Vic-Lover, government name, Mr. Vic Pratt. Let's welcome him in, guys.
Where's the applause? You got to get some sound effects or something.
I'll give you a drum roll.
All right, that's good.
I missed it. I should have did that beforehand. What is going on, Mr. Vic Pratt,
Hey,
DJ Vic?
Not much, Glad to be here. I'm
Yes,
honored to be
sir.
on this podcast.
I'm super hype. I was just hyping it up just now, man. Like, listen, God is dope. Like, that's all I can say. I'm like thinking about, I'm like, yo, he's like kind of known me forever. This is different. Like, this is different. But thank you so much for coming on.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, I was just sharing with the people, just basically what I was sharing with you, that, I've always had a heart for the men. I'm like, God made me a boy mom. I had two brothers growing up. I'm smack in the middle, the only girl. I was the only girl for like almost 20 years, only granddaughter for like 20 years. And I just got a heart for the men. So I really am thankful, from the bottom of my heart that you took out time. I know you're super busy, to come on this platform that I'm just winging it, man. I'm just winging it.
Hey, I see you. I see you moving.
Yeah.
I see you moving.
I'm winging it, but I'm enjoying myself. And, I want real people, to bless this platform. I want real people who want to keep it a buck, who not trying to do the facade and I'm this and I'm that. You know what I'm saying? Who going to be real.
That's what it's about. Quality over quantity.
Exactly. Yeah, so thank you so much.
Got you.
So let's just jump right in.
Let's go.
Who's Vic Pratt?
Hey, Vic Pratt, like you said, presenting to some, introducing to others. Vic Pratt been around here.
Yeah, man.
Hempstead on my back, always.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Love it.
Do this DJ thing, do this community service thing.
Right.
I try to get out there.
Tomorrow, trying to get out there. He everywhere, y'all. I can't even book him. Let me put him out there. Matter of fact, I can't even book this guy. I had to try a few times. I'm like, I'm booked that day. I'm like, seriously, is that what we're doing right now? But listen, that is all love. So, Vic Pratt from Hempstead DJing. How did you get? First of all, growing up in Hempstead, what was that like? Growing up.
Oh, Hempstead. That's why I still claim Hempstead to this day
Woo woo.
because it was just so much talent and
Hmm.
pride and
Yeah.
excellence in
Hmm.
Hempstead. It didn't matter what you did. I mean,
Right.
you could have respect for the bum on the corner because he was smart, you
Right.
know,
Come on.
and it just went from the top to the bottom. Everybody was a product of Hempstead and made
Right.
Hempstead a place to be.
Right.
Hmm.
Love that. Love that. Yeah. It's.
Yeah.
I don't know. People probably looking like she keep having people come up. I can't help it. Like we're dope. Like I just. That's all I got. That's why I feel
Yeah.
like even when I go to other states, like we're doing our thing in other states as
Yeah.
well. Like it's not just we in
Exactly.
Hempstead shaking out. Wherever we
Exactly.
go, it's a movie. Like wherever we go,
No
it's a
matter what
positive
city you in,
situation.
you can't help
Yeah.
but to envy the love that Hempstead has for each
Absolutely.
other. Because we
Absolutely.
all grew up together. We all grew up with that pride.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So I was laughing the other day trying to explain to somebody like, oh yeah, no, there's different sides of Hempstead. No, no, no. No, that's the Heights. No, they was so confused. So what was it like growing up, being the first of all, when did you fall in love with music? Like where did that come from? What was your household like that had you like, I gotta be a DJ? Like what was that about?
See, the funny thing is, I didn't start out trying to be a DJ. My pops, he was into music equipment.
Hmm.
He had the reel to reel. He had this elaborate system. We had the big floor model with the TV and all that. So
No remote, I
Saturday,
got you.
yeah, Saturday, I was the remote.
We know remote the kids.
so, so Saturdays cleaning up, we had the music blasted.
That's a fact.
And it wasn't a rinky dink system. So that's when I fell in love with sound and how stuff sounds, bass. And as I got older and started driving, I was a mixtape fiend.
Right.
Like I would buy everybody's mixtape. I just needed the new
Who did you
stuff.
buy though? Who did you buy?
Oh
I gotta
my
know.
God. Ron G, Do
That was
Wop,
the one I
Pusha
knew he
T,
was gonna say.
Grandmaster Vic.
Ron G. I knew it.
Oh,
I saw it
yes.
coming. Yes, sir.
I had them all, and but it was always something that I would hear, like I would have did it like this, or I would have did it like that. So when I
Right.
started DJing, it was just to make my own tapes,
Right.
just to have in my car. And tapes started disappearing out of my car. Next thing I know, it was circling on the drive. Then it was on
Yeah.
terrace, and so I was getting requested, to do parties before I even had equipment. And
Wow.
so many people started requesting. I just went ahead and invested in some equipment so I could start
That's
doing these
dope.
parties. And
Yo, wow.
yeah,
Nah, that just hit me for real. Because I feel like if you pay attention, to people who successful people and you hear them speak, you hear them share their stories, they always say, basically what they say is there was a demand and
right,
then I started. So that's what
right.
that basically was.
It's
You
basically
was
that's all
just
it
doing
was.
you and it was a demand.
That's yeah,
That
that's what it
is
was.
dope.
And
Dope.
it wasn't even a thought. If you would have asked me 30 years ago, would I be DJing in the next no, that wasn't even a I let the other guys do that.
Right, right, right.
Red Alert has already got this.
Red alert, yes.
Yeah.
That is dope. So now people knowing who you so you just came up with DJ Vic because you like, okay, that's my name.
Well, back then you had Ed Lover, you had it was already Grandmaster Vic.
Right.
So I had to do something. So and I used to before I was DJing, I was rhyming.
Wait,
And
what?
my yeah.
We
Used to
are
do
learning something.
ciphers. Yeah. back at
Okay.
Hampton University. We
I
used to have
hate you.
ciphers. Yeah.
Wow.
DOS Effects was over at Virginia State.
Listen,
And
VSU.
yeah,
Shout out to
yeah,
VSU.
yeah. It started with the cipher. That's when I
That's
started
fire.
calling myself Vic-Lover.
Wow.
And once I started DJing, I just kept it.
That's
Yeah.
dope. All
It's
right,
crazy.
so you went to school. Now you grew up in Hempstead. Period. Like every school you went was in Hempstead.
Yep. I went all the way K through 12, Hempstead Public Schools.
Wow.
Loved it.
So what made you? What first of all? What did you major in for school for college?
I changed majors 5 times before I finally
It's all
settled on
good.
education.
It's all good. It's
So
all good.
I started out with electrical engineering, wound up
Nice.
in nuclear medicine,
Wow.
started doing my interns, and just couldn't see myself doing that for 20 years.
Oh snap.
So then I switched to pre med biology,
Hmm.
and at the time I was tutoring at Franklin School,
Okay.
and I just fell in love with teaching. I changed my
Wow.
major like the next week.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that.
yeah,
So you a little smarty pants, huh? You a little
yeah.
smarty pants talking about some biology. You got some
Little
brains going
something.
on.
That
Talking
was more
about
my father's
engineering and
fault.
biology. What?
Yeah.
That's
This
dope.
was when I was. It wasn't my dream. It was my
Mm-hmm.
parents' dream.
Got you.
They
Mm-hmm.
saw. I've always been smart,
Right.
so they felt like I should have been either a doctor, an engineer, or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So you grew up with both your parents
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
household. Okay.
Yeah.
So what was that? I always ask people from Hempstead the same question
Uh-huh.
because it's just very relevant. So
Right.
did you see a difference? Growing up, did you have like your little crew? Did you see the difference in the energy of you and your friends
Very much
compared to
so. Very
compared to the
much
single
so.
family home, and then you having a two family home?
Right. Yes. Um, in my neighborhood, it was me and Rob Moore. We were the only ones that had both parents. You
Right,
know,
right, right.
everyone else single
Shout
family
out to Rob
household.
Moore.
And yeah, shout out to Rob
Shout out to
Moore,
Rob Moore.
NFL, great.
NFL, baby.
So, you know, the difference didn't start revealing itself until we got older, right?
Okay.
Because I was, I felt like my parents were strict. I
Okay.
had to leave the party at 11 o'clock.
So you was
You
a street
know,
light kid.
yeah, I was one of those. And at the time, it wasn't cool,
Right,
you know.
right, right, right.
But when I got older, I was so thankful,
Yeah.
because I had, there was so many pitfalls that were available that I would have probably jumped
Hmm.
on
Hmm.
had I not been fearful of what my father was going to say or what
Right,
he was
right.
going to do. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So
Absolutely.
when you are, not saying that single mothers can't do it,
Hmm.
but as a boy growing into a man, there comes a time where what's she really going to do? You know,
Right.
what's she going to do? Punch me in my face? Like,
Hmm.
no, you're not scared of that, but you're
Hmm.
scared
Hmm.
of your father punching you in your face.
Right.
You know,
Nah,
and
that's real.
so I mean, it played out in life.
Hmm.
We were exposed to different things,
Hmm.
and we 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 um we viewed parenting differently. Um, we There was definitely a difference between those of us that didn't have that blueprint
Hmm.
and those of us that did.
So what were they exposed to that where you was like, oh wow, yo, my parents are strict, but I'll take the strict. I'll
Yeah.
take the strict
Okay.
for 200, Alex. Like, what was you seeing? What were they seeing? What were they sharing
um.
with you?
All right. Uh. I have a best friend from like fourth grade. Right.
Hmm.
Once we got to middle school, he didn't have to go to school anymore. Like there was nobody making him go to school.
Got you.
I actually thought it was cool that he didn't have to go.
Right, right, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But, you know, I went
Wow.
to ninth grade. He stayed in the eighth grade. You know,
So
never
then what
really,
happened?
never really finished. He wound up getting his GED later on because
Okay.
he realized he needed it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's starting late, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's one thing that I always am thankful for, that I wasn't allowed to do what I thought was cool, you
Right.
know, because a kid will think, you know, anything is cool. It might
Mm-hmm.
not be good for them though.
Right.
Right.
Wow. That was listen. That was real.
Yeah.
Because some names start coming to my mind. I realized they actually stopped going to school. Now I'm thinking
Right.
about it. Like,
Right.
yeah, you just didn't see him anymore. That's a
Right.
fact.
And
Wow.
yeah, there's a lot of examples, you know. I won't throw nobody under the bus.
You ain't gotta say no
But
names, but we want to know. We want to know what was going on in Hempstead back then.
you know,
Shoot.
for example, my older brother, he
Mm-hmm.
was dating this girl. He was in like ninth or 10th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess my father, as a man, knew what was going on. You know, she gave him some. You know, he was, he was cutting school and everything
Right.
until
Open.
he finally stopped her from seeing her.
Mm-hmm.
And a month later, she was pregnant by somebody else.
Oh
You
snap!
know,
Wow.
right? So
Parents be knowing, man.
right, they be knowing,
They
and
be
that's
knowing.
why it's important. That's why it's
Yeah.
very important. You
Absolutely.
know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now you decided, you finished college. Did you finish school?
of course,
Oh, excuse me.
of
To my, of course, of course. And you got your degree in what now?
education.
In education. Love it. So now you found your love. Um, you know, saw some things. Let me ask you this because college for me was different. What did you were you like culture shocked when you got there because you were because you had strict parents?
No,
No.
I wasn't. I'll tell you this: having strict parents helped me get through school because now I
How
was
so?
on my own.
Uh
I
huh.
was on my own. I had nobody checking the clock, what time I came in,
Mm-hmm.
or telling me where to go and where not to go. But it was in me. Like I just knew.
Mm.
Like
Got you.
that's not right. You know, there
Okay.
was a crew of kids down the hall that was sticking up the Domino's pizza man.
Oh
You
no.
know,
Yeah.
you know, people do a lot of things in college to get money.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
I rather take my $20 allowance and make it last.
I got you. I got
You
you.
know,
No, I had to ask because sometimes what happens is when you are somewhat what they call sheltered or whatever, or you grew up in a
uh,
strict family, when you get out, to college, you go crazy,
right.
get loose, and
But
start
see,
doing everything. So you
let
did
me
the
let me
opposite. That was
clarify.
cool.
It wasn't. I mean, it was structured, but
Hmm.
it wasn't strict. You
Got you.
know, like I had gold teeth. You know,
Right.
you know,
He's like, I was cool.
I
My
was
parents just told
cool
me
a
I had to be
little
in the
bit.
house
You
early.
know, I just had to come home early.
Right, right, right. I got
You
you. I
know,
got you.
right.
Wow. All right. So
So,
with the education, what
uh,
drew you to stay in Hempstead? Was it connected to the music and you like, listen, I'm already known, they know me as DJ Vic, so I know I'm gonna make my money? Or was it
I,
like the education part? What was it?
okay, so like I said, I was tutoring at Franklin while I was still in college. My 11th grade social studies teacher, who was the assistant principal at the high school,
Now
told me
they
to
are?
come interview. Well, no, he was then at
Oh,
the
okay.
time that I was tutoring. He
Okay.
was the assistant principal.
Hmm.
So he found my resume and called me up. So I got right into it.
Wow.
You know, I got
That was
hired. I worked at Hempstead High School,
hmm
and I just fell in love because I was young enough to where I had a different relationship with the kids. You know, I
hmm
was 26 years old,
So you was
and
cool.
right, I was cool.
Right,
I didn't have uh, bougie clothes.
right,
I had
right.
a FUBU sleeveless sweater. You
He's like,
know
I
what
was
I'm
all the way
saying?
forced by us.
You know what I'm
What?
saying? Word. So
Wow.
fast forward to 2004.
Hmm.
I left Hempstead. I moved
Okay.
to Houston.
Wow.
I gave up DJing completely, you know, because you got to remember back then it was carrying crates of records, carrying
Right.
equipment and speakers. It was a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Houston and I was just strictly working at the school. And then I went to Vegas and saw that the DJ was, he didn't have no records. Like he just had a
Wow.
computer. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what is this? So so I looked into
Wow.
it and that's what got me back into DJing.
Mm-hmm.
But I was an educator at heart. I was ready for the second chapter of my life where,
Yeah.
I wasn't running the streets no more.
Mm-hmm.
And I moved back to Hempstead. Well, I moved back to Queens in
Wow.
2009 and started hanging out in Hempstead again. Started making my connections again. And
Mm-hmm.
next thing I knew, by 2010, I was DJing everywhere.
Wow. I love
Yeah,
that. I love that. I love that.
right.
So
Right.
you moved to Houston
Uh-huh.
following a job as an educator.
Well, no, I moved to Houston just to get out of New York.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I was tired of
So why
walking
Houston?
because I went to the Super Bowl in 2004. They had just built
You're like, I
Reliance
like it
Stadium,
here.
and it was beautiful.
Right.
Houses, you could get like a mansion for
Mm-hmm.
180,000,
Mm-hmm.
and
I got you.
I fell in love. I moved the next year.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. So now, okay, educator in Hempstead, you decide you go to a football game and you like, yo, this is I could do this. I could be here.
Exactly.
And you move there, okay. You're teaching out there, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, you were teaching out there, and then where did Vegas coming at? You just went to visit, or what
I just
happened?
went on a trip. I just went
Okay,
on a trip to
so you on
Vegas.
these trips be changing your life. That's what these trips be changing your life.
Now that you put it like that, yeah, I guess
He like, so let's see something new. I'm like, I'm out of here. What? Yo, that's
so.
funny. So now you go to Vegas and you realize the all the crates and all that is a wrap. So now
Right.
I'm gonna have to get back into
Right.
this music thing.
I
You know what I
want
mean?
in. I want
Right.
in.
So now you back in Hempstead, and then what happens to where you like, I want to get involved, with the youth. I want to get involved with what's going on in Hempstead. What made you say, I got to do something more than what I'm doing right now for Hempstead?
My mother.
Your
She
mom.
never left Hempstead. I lived in the house, lived in the same house to the day she passed away.
Oh,
Um,
rest in peace.
she started developing dementia, and so she
Right.
would say the same thing over and over. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing she always said was, "Look at this school, or look at this over there, or look at these kids. What are they doing? It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon." She would
Yeah.
just point out different things
Mm-hmm.
that somebody should be doing something about. So I started, going to board meetings, started helping, where I could help. I would see the live streams, and
Mm-hmm.
I'd send off an email, let me know how I can help, what you need, da, da, da.
Wow.
And nothing ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself.
That's
And
the one.
that's what made me decide to run.
Wow. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Now, you have children,
Yes.
correct? You have
Yes.
children. So, what are the ages of the kids?
All right. I have two old children.
He said
30.
old.
One, yeah. One just turned 30. The other one will be 29
Wait a minute. Who is 30? Who
My
is
son
29?
Justin is
Justin
30.
is nobody's 30. Stop playing right
Justin
now.
is 30.
Stop it.
Yes.
Justin is 30 years old.
He's 30 years old.
Ooh, I'm gonna need Justin to not age me right now. I remember him. Wow.
Exactly.
That's
Yes.
amazing.
Right.
That's amazing. So
And the
you
two
have
little
Justin
ones,
and your
Justin and
daughter.
Vic. My daughter is 11 and my son is 10. My
They
daughter
so
will be 12 next month.
okay. They so cute. They so cute. Wow. So what was it like, being a dad, first of all, your first child, like what was that like?
That was that's what changed me, right?
Yeah.
So I was going to Hampton in Virginia, and it was my freshman year when he was on the way.
Oh
I
wow.
left yeah, I left Hampton and came up here,
Hmm.
transferred to Malloy, and finished out over there.
Gotcha.
So, you know, I had big boy bills at 20 years old.
I know that's
You
a
know,
fact.
rent was 12.50.
Hmm.
I had a car note,
Hmm.
buying formula, diapers. Like,
It
I
got
needed
real
to
quick.
hustle.
Right,
It
right,
went
right.
real quick. You know,
Wow.
I went from getting an allowance to
Hmm.
paying major utility bills.
Right.
All right, so that was definitely a shock.
Hmm.
Um, but I wanted him, me having the father that I had, I could not, you know, not at least give him the opportunity to have the same things that I had.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I stepped up, you know, even when they was like, you know, just finish school, they'll be here when you get it. You know, I had to come home and get a job, you
Hmm.
know.
Wow.
Yeah,
So you're a dad. You had to leave school. Just become an adult like that,
right.
basically.
Overnight, overnight.
What was well, first of all, what you having the parents that you had, you know, how were they when it became the conversation of, she's pregnant type thing? What was that like?
Okay. My mother, she was mad. She was mad.
She was mad.
Yeah, because she told me to stop messing with her a long time ago. You know.
Look, it was
So
dad with your brother, it was mom with you, huh?
right. Right. So she did the mommy thing, but she was the best grandma in the world. You
Hmm.
know, my father more or less approached it from a man's point of view, where you know he was there to support, give me
Hmm.
advice, and if he was unhappy, he never showed it. I didn't know it,
Right,
you
right,
know.
right.
But
What did your dad do as a profession? What did your parents do as a profession?
he worked for the telephone. It wasn't what is it now? AT and
What?
T. It used to be 9X
Oh, word,
and
not ex. Oh
Bell.
gosh,
Yeah,
that's
he
so.
used to work. He used to work for them.
Wow,
And
got you.
my mother hustled Tupperware.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
mom.
don't sleep on Tupperware.
I know that's listen. You heard me say, "All right, mom." Listen, I be knowing what it is,
Yeah.
especially back then. I be knowing what it is. Wow. All right, so
Right.
now you're a dad. You decide to come back to your home,
Uh,
and get involved, with the community. Was there like friction? Was there like a time when you was like, I want to do this, but do you felt like, okay, this might not be it? Like, did you have issues when it came to the respect? Did you have issues when it came to, getting yourself out there so people can vote for you? How was that? How was that
okay.
transition?
Before before I actually decided to run, I had been approached several times to run.
Oh,
But I'm not a politician. Like I'm not politically correct. You know what I'm
got
saying? And I handle things differently than a politician.
it. Hmm.
So I never wanted to be in that arena because people talk crazy about people, politicians,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and I'm worried about how I might respond, you know.
So I'm trying to save their
So,
life.
you know what I'm saying? So that was the only time there was a struggle. Once
Hmm.
I decided this is what I was going to do, I
Hmm.
never I never thought twice about it because it wasn't for anybody but my mother,
Hmm.
you know, and she literally asked, "Is there something I could do?" Right?
Wow.
So that's all that kept me going. You know, unfortunately, um, a month before I was elected, she passed away.
Oh,
Right.
wow, 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 wow.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like she is that force that can? Because to me, listening to you, you sound like you've always been confident.
Yeah. That see, one thing about me, is I never waited to get put on. I never waited for
Love
somebody to
that.
give me anything. I always, I knew what I brought to the table. I knew what I could do.
Hmm.
And, it's that keeps me from trying to talk down about other people just to make me feel look
Come
good.
on in here.
Or,
Yeah.
so
That
that's how
part.
I've always approached things.
Hmm.
And that you have to have confidence to move
Right.
like that.
Right. I
Right.
love that. That was a bar for sure. That was a bar. People just don't have
And
that,
that
you know?
comes from parenting as well, because my
Hmm.
parents always instilled in all of us, me and all my siblings.
Hmm.
We if if I was playing the clarinet,
Hmm.
my parents would have been there clapping loud, telling everybody I'm their baby.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes, love it. Love that. Love that. So even with that, that's significant in reference to going back to, you saying, you know, the guys you were around who didn't have, the two family household, who, there was nobody on them saying, you better go back to school, you better get your butt back in school,
right,
that's probably, the difference in how your story has fallen into place and how theirs may have, because
right,
you had people behind you telling you like you're gonna be great. You know what I mean?
right,
Like you're gonna be
right,
great.
right.
I love that. That's
Yeah,
that's woo. That
yeah.
just gave
It's
me
all about
chills.
support.
That just gave me chills there, fella. All right, so now, what is your title now?
I am the vice president of the Hempstead Board of Education.
Okay, and this is now. Is this your second term?
No, I'm up for election now
You're
for my
up for
second term.
election.
Yeah,
Okay, got you, got
yeah.
you, got you. So how you feeling about that?
I'm feeling good. You know, you know how I do.
You confident?
you
Of
know,
course you gonna
I'm
say I'm
I'm
feeling good.
I'm not cocky. I'm confident,
Yeah, you confident. That's a
man.
fact. He is confident. I
Yeah,
love it. I love
you
it.
know.
So what has been, let me ask this. Being from Hempstead,
Uh-huh.
um I love Hempstead. I love Hempstead.
Yeah.
But keeping it a buck,
Uh-huh.
some of us, or a lot of us rather, had to learn the hard way that um we weren't we didn't receive all that other districts received
Right. Right.
for whatever reasons.
Right.
So, since you've been in this seat, can you share anything that you can say has been different, since
Mm-hmm.
you've taken part in, taking this position? Can you share anything connected to, you know, um, you know, statistically, or just saying like, well, this year that just passed or the year before, our
Mm-hmm.
graduating class went from this to this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, share something
Right.
like that with us.
All right. So there's two parts to that, right?
Okay.
Um, for one, Hempstead was mismanaged for a long time,
Hmm.
and it was basically driven into the ground.
Right.
Um, Corruption, mismanagement of funds, misuse of funds, um, people not really knowledgeable about what they had a hand in deciding,
Hmm.
just a waste of money. And I'll give you an example, right? We just spent, what, $40 million to build road school.
Okay.
Now,
It's
back in
beautiful.
2000, back in 2004, the then superintendent received grant money, and it would have cost the taxpayers $4 million to rebuild Rose School with
Right.
the same blueprint.
Gotcha.
But because there was a board member who had a license in real estate, made the decision that we weren't going to do that.
Okay.
They were going to give us 100 Main Street
Right.
for zero tax dollars, all
Wow.
grant money. The then
Oof.
board said no, and
Mm-hmm.
then we started renting 100 Main Street for $500,000. So we could have paid for that building
Yeah.
50 times already.
Right. Wow.
So that's what I mean by the mismanagement. So the taxpayers are who feels that, you
Right, right,
know. People like my mother who paid off their house 20 years ago, but
right.
still can't afford to live here because the taxes is crazy,
Come on.
you know.
Come on,
And if
yes.
you just do little things to save taxpayer dollars, it wouldn't be like this.
Right, right, right.
So that's the first part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The second part of it is that Hempstead had been doing so bad for so long.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that have made careers off of it. You know,
Mm.
they've
Explain that.
created they've created we've got lawyers that
Mm-hmm.
have made names for themselves in the news for bashing Hempstead.
Right,
We
got.
got state legislators that have made names for themselves for bashing Hempstead.
Mm-hmm.
We've got personalities on social media that have gotten a lot of followers for
Mm-hmm.
bashing Hempstead.
Come on.
So now that Hempstead is transforming and we're making the changes that need to be made,
Mm-hmm.
those people are fearing the fact they're going to be out of work soon.
Well.
There's nothing else to talk about if Hempstead is doing well. So let's
Mm-hmm.
keep talking about them doing bad,
Come on, Vic.
you know? So
Whew.
it's hard to turn around when people are so invested in the way things used to be.
Used to be, yeah.
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 So I mean, it's sad because this is where my heart is,
Mm-hmm.
but you got outsiders that have no love for this tiger thing,
Come on,
and
T for L.
they are
Come
they
on.
are just driving it into the ground,
Wow.
you know.
Mm, got you, got you, got you. I felt all of that. Like every bit of that. I felt all of that. But, I just feel like it may sound dramatic, but as they say, the enemy only attacks those that are a force. I
Right,
think because Hempstead just has so many dynamic people, it's just always been going through the ups and downs and different
right,
issues. You know what I'm
right,
saying? But
right.
T for L, baby. T for
All
L.
day, all
Period.
day.
Tigers for life. I love it. I love it. I love it. So now, DJ Vic-Lover,
Yes.
your dad to four beautiful children. Well, adults and children now. I can't believe you say he's 30. Daggone, that
Yeah,
took me
right.
that just took me out. Um I would love for you to share what you've been doing with your youngest kids. Um
uh,
one of the things, one of the E's, the she's three E's that I have is empower, encourage, and to educate. And the educating part, I would love for you to speak on, the importance of teaching our children about entrepreneurship.
right.
So just share with us, what you've done for your kids in reference to
Okay,
that.
no problem. All right. So you got to remember, COVID took a big chunk out of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we
Mm-hmm.
couldn't go anywhere, we couldn't do anything. But it was during that time that they learned how to print T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
Now, through you or through school?
well, through me
Mm-hmm.
and YouTube.
I know that's a fact. YouTube University.
Right,
Let's go.
right.
Okay.
So we actually learned together, and
Love it.
I just went crazy with it. But you know, they don't they're not spoiled. You
Mhm.
know, I almost flirted with spoiling them because they were getting everything for nothing, you know.
Got you.
Now it's more of if you want that, you got to work for it. You got to do this. Do something for me, I'll do something for you.
Got you.
You
Got you.
know, and you know they love it. You know, my youngest, he just turned 11, and I mean he just turned 10,
Mm-hmm.
and he's in 5th grade. You couldn't ask for a better kid. You know,
Right.
you ask him once and he does it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't have to remind him what he has to do. He'll remind you. Like,
Right. Right.
You told me to clean the bathroom. I need to know where the cleaner is.
Oh well.
So because he's so responsible and on point, like he just had a birthday last month, and I never spent this much money on a gift ever. He got a gaming computer because that's what he's
Nice.
into.
Love it. Love it.
And it's not just because he plays games. Like he's coding,
Right.
he's rigging his. I mean, the boy. I don't even know. I don't understand what he does. He just does it.
I love that.
He'll see me struggling with my iPhone. He'll take it, give it back to me. How'd you do that?
Ooh, these kids are geniuses. That's why they
Yeah,
different out here. They
yeah,
different. Wow.
yeah. But
So
they understand the importance of being self sufficient and having a because being an entrepreneur is not something you do. It's something you feel, something you
yeah,
live.
say that.
It's deep inside of you. Like no matter what happens, you're gonna find a way to do something.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So now they have a company, correct?
Yes. Tiger
Share the
with
company.
kids.
Tiger Wear Kids.
Yes.
So out of nowhere, y'all just start saying, "Listen, we like shirts, so we about to start making them."
Hmm.
That's literally what happened.
Well, kind of, but not really. I saw a little hustle there,
Mm-hmm.
because when this pandemic started, I was doing a lot of DJing on Facebook Live,
Okay.
right? And in the comments, I would always see, "That's a dope shirt. Where'd you get that shirt?"
Oh, love it.
And so if I'm in front of 1,000 people
Mm-hmm.
every week, why not sell? Sell it. So boom,
Bars.
there you go.
They go demand again. Told you.
Yep,
They
the
go to
demand.
demand again. Love that. Love that.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your children are officially business owners.
Right. You got an
I want you,
LLC,
yeah, I want you to
security ID.
explain that because when we tell people things like make put your child under your business, get a credit card or whatever so
Right.
they can get points, all
Right.
different things,
Right.
share all that entails, what you've actually done for your kid because I don't think people really get it and it's not
Right.
hard.
Right. Right.
It's not hard at all.
It's not hard. It's actually very
It's
easy.
very easy.
Very
Yeah.
easy. So I haven't gotten them credit cards under the business name because I
Okay.
don't trust them like that.
Right.
But they do have employee ID numbers.
Mhm.
Um, they are listed as employees in the company,
Mhm.
and that just that's just building a work history right now.
Absolutely. Hmm.
So when they go for their first job on their resume, they're going to say they worked for this
Yep.
company for some. That's a benefit right there.
Absolutely.
Um, there's a line of credit
Hmm.
in their name. They just don't have access to it. You
Gotcha.
know, that's something that's coming down because they're still young. They're
Hmm.
12 and 10. So that's coming down the line. But it's definitely something that doesn't take a lot of work or
Right.
a lot of money.
Right.
Just do it. And you get you
Absolutely.
a Restaurant Depot card.
That's a fact. We love that place. We love that place.
you know?
So now, growing up in a two-family household, you
Uh,
have four children. Now, how did you meet mom? How did you meet their mom?
High
Are you
school.
guys
Hempstead
married?
High School. No, we
Oh,
went to.
Hempstead High
Oh,
School?
their mom. Okay, I
Yeah.
thought you meant
The two
the
youngest.
first. Okay, the two youngest. Okay. Well, we actually met. Y'all gonna laugh at this.
He laughed.
Before before there was Facebook and Instagram and
Black Planet?
MySpace. Nah, it wasn't that. It
Oh, I'm
didn't go
about to
that far.
say.
But we
Dang.
did meet in a chat room. We
Oh,
did meet
okay.
in the chat room, and we went out a few times. And we dated for like maybe 7 years before we got married. Yeah,
Wow. So you know her a long
yeah,
time.
yeah. This
Wow.
was like 2004.
Oh, snappy, snap, Vic.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I love that. I love that. And so, what does she
Yeah.
do
She works in customer inside sales.
inside
You know,
sales?
she was with one company that got taken over by another company,
Okay.
but she still works from home, so she don't care. You know,
Hmm. She
she
good.
sells cloud services.
She's good. She's good. So
Yeah.
now, what your parents were able to do for you is that like the goal? You know, as a dad, as a husband. You know, when you're looking at your children.
Um, yes and no. Like
Okay,
it's a different time, so there's a different approach.
that was good.
But the values are definitely the same. The
Hmm.
values I need to instill, and my father was real big on how to treat a woman, and how to carry yourself with respect. You
Hmm.
know, if you want somebody to respect you, you got to respect yourself.
Right.
You know,
Right.
act like a fool, you get treated like a fool.
Hmm.
And so it's values like that that I definitely instill in my kids.
Right. So
Hmm.
now, I just want to touch on what you just said. I was sharing before, you came on, just the goal of this series, the Men
Uh-huh.
Where Are Thou series. Um, when it comes to, the state, I said it earlier, I said I'm gonna probably sound dramatic, but I'm cool with that. When it comes to the state of our men, you saying your dad taught you how to treat a female, seeing a lot going on in social media. We're seeing a lot of domestic violence. I think even today while I was at work, an officer was sharing with me that a gentleman is now in the custody, over by me. I still work at the jail, that killed his kid's mom. They got a baby, and now this baby doesn't have basically both parents. What is your take on the things that are happening, the atmosphere, and where do you think it comes from?
uh, there's been a breakdown in respect, right? People are no longer respecting themselves, and they definitely not respecting strangers, right?
Hmm.
Whereas we grew up at a time where you could see somebody getting into it, and you could actually step in and break it up. You
Hmm.
know, now everybody minds their business because you could break it up and get shot. You
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
um, so males are disrespecting females, females are disrespecting males are disrespecting each other. Everybody's disrespecting each other. You know, it was a time where even when we were kids, we cursed, but if there was a woman walking by, no, we hold
Right.
that.
Right.
Or if we said it, we immediately said, "Oh, excuse
Pardon
me,
me.
ma'am."
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm. Right.
and that was respect. There was a community,
Right.
right? There's no more community because now is mind your business. Don't talk to my child like that. You
Exactly.
don't have, you know what I'm saying? So, how likely is it for Miss Parker down the street to tell you that she
Not Miss
saw your
Parker.
son acting up?
Why I had to be Miss
You know what I'm
Parker
saying?
though?
Like,
My
people
brain was
won't.
somewhere else. Why I had to be Miss
So
Parker?
it's the respect thing. So
Right.
there's no respect of life anymore. You know, people don't respect life. You know, there was a time where we had remember back in the days when the DVD Faces of Death came out, and
Faces of Death.
it was
Yes.
right. It was just shocking to see somebody die.
Right.
Right now, it's called Instagram.
The
You
facts, though.
know,
The
you turn on your
facts.
computer and you literally see people murdered.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you see people assaulted.
Hmm.
You see it so much that you think it's okay. Not saying
Right.
you and me. I'm just saying like people in
Hmm.
general.
Right.
You know, it's okay. I was um I was just at Joseph McNeil School today, and the issue was, a couple fourth graders were in a group chat, and one of the guys were calling one of the girls fat.
Mhm.
So she took a selfie in her bikini and sent
Oh,
it to
uh-oh.
prove that she wasn't fat.
Right,
Now, this kid had no clue that what she did was wrong.
right.
You
Oh
know,
boy. Uh-huh.
nothing said that it was inappropriate. And we're trying to tell her that's inappropriate.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But social media is to blame for a lot of this behavior. And I remember, when I was still teaching at the high school and Basketball Wives came out.
Uh-huh.
At that time, I was a fan. Like, I used to watch it. Like, oh, these chicks, wow. So the episode where Evelyn Lozada threw the drink and jumped over the table, like acting crazy.
She had so many of those episodes. I don't know which one.
Well,
She was always
I
acting a
just
fool.
remember that one. That was the time I stopped watching
Oh, okay,
because,
gotcha.
and I didn't stop watching because she did that. I stopped watching because when I went to work and I was on lunch duty, the kids were just throwing slushies at each other and jumping over the table.
Oh wow.
So they're mocking what they
Mm-hmm,
see
mm-hmm.
on TV. Like
Right.
that's how you supposed to handle conflict.
Mm,
So you gotta you gotta look at the media and you gotta look at imagery and the impression that all of these media outlets are having on the people that consume it,
right.
right? So now it's like no thing to because not only homicide is skyrocketing, but suicide is
Yeah.
skyrocketing.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
because these are the images that they see, and this is what
Right.
they hear.
Right.
Social media has made the world a much smaller place. If you
Right.
send your child to the room, if they got their phone, they still connected to the world. And
Absolutely.
when they have these group chats and somebody's talking about I'm gonna kill myself, or somebody's saying you should kill yourself, you
Mm,
know, these things, pe- kids don't know how to handle that type of
right.
stuff.
Right.
And you know, the biggest problem we had was watching the road runner jump off a cliff and come back after the commercial.
Right. Right. Right.
You know,
Woo.
these kids don't have that example.
Right.
When Johnny died, Johnny not coming back,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they don't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that there's no more respect, like the mechanics of murdering someone is first you have to dehumanize them, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened in the Vietnam War, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody called them Vietnamese soldiers. They were gooks or
Mm-hmm.
you have to
Right.
dehumanize
Chinks
them.
now. Mm-hmm.
You can't you can't look at them equally because that makes it harder to kill them,
Mm-hmm.
right? When the Klan is going to lynch someone, it's not go get that black guy over there, go get
Right.
that nigga.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
know, they have to minimize your humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens now? These kids, they get ready to go ride on a nigga. They're not
Mm-hmm.
riding on kings. They're not riding on brothers. They riding on niggas.
Yeah.
So when they get pumped up to go and take somebody's life, they got to dehumanize them first.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So without respect, it's easy to dehumanize someone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the root of, I think that's the root of it all. We got to start respecting our women. We
Right.
got to start respecting ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We got to start respecting each other again,
Right.
you know.
Absolutely. So, being an educator, back in your hometown, have you ever had to deal with having a conversation or having to make an announcement or walk in a classroom or anything in that fashion when there's been a murder? When the town has lost someone due to gun violence. Have you
Yeah.
had to have those conversations and what was that like?
See, anybody that's ever been in my class knows it was probably about 20% math and 80% life. You
Right.
know, they used to get on me all the time because I would just go off on a tangent, just trying to give them examples of how things can turn out.
Right.
So there was this incident where there was a fight at school, and the supposed tough guy got beat up by the supposed nerdy guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his ego couldn't take that. Saw him about 5 o'clock that day on terrace and murdered him.
Right.
You know, so that was a tough conversation because when you come back to school, not only did we lose one life, we lost two,
Right.
right? Because one guy is going away for a
Yeah.
while,
Yeah.
and the other guy is dead.
Right.
So what does being tough really get you? You
Mm-hmm.
know, because when somebody does put you to the test and you fail, now what you gonna do? You gonna kill somebody?
Right.
You know, so it was that was the worst part of teaching.
Mm-hmm.
The best part of teaching was people that come back after they've gone to college and they're thanking you for
Right.
all of your support, your help, and everything. But the worst part about it is seeing on the news or reading in the paper somebody that was in your class that either got murdered or convicted to a life sentence.
Right.
You know, it was it's a gift and a curse. I
Right.
love being an educator, but sometimes it's like because I wasn't the teacher that drove in from another town, went to work, and went back home.
Right.
Like I wake up here, go to
Right.
work here,
Mm-hmm.
come back home here,
Mm-hmm.
go shopping on the weekends here. You know, and I'm always dealing with these kids.
Right.
So my relationship was different. You
Whew. Yeah. I do know. I do know.
know.
So, I always tell people you have to be mindful that if you don't teach your kids, the world will teach your kids.
Oh yeah.
So, what do you say to the parents, that are basically leaving the shaping and molding in the hands of you guys, the educators? What do you say to those parents to help them understand you have to be involved with your kid?
Right.
What do
So
you
with
say?
that, no one learns in isolation, right? So it has to be a community thing. If the community ain't right, then you have to be more hands on than probably our parents had to be, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So you can raise your kid to do everything right, and they could be the perfect kid at home. But when they get to school and their friends' parents aren't doing the same thing,
Right.
it's like poison in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have constant communication with your teacher. You can't just wait until it's time for the report card and you go to parent teacher conference. It got to be you got to have dialogue all the time. You got to know they're not hanging with the right crowd.
Right.
They need to be more focused, or they need, you know what I'm saying? It's because if you wait till it's too late, then it's too late.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's not something that you can easily reverse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you figure kids spend a third of their day at school,
Mm-hmm.
a third of their day with you, and a third of their day sleep,
Right.
right? So that means you're getting the same amount of time as the kids at school are getting.
Right.
You know,
Or less.
it's that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it can't just be up to the administrators. It can't be just up to the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be up to you. Like you gotta FaceTime your kid. I
Yeah.
FaceTime my daughter in the middle of the afternoon, and she better answer. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you gotta make sure they're dealing with the right kind of influences. Because trust me, between social media and their friends at school, the influence is strong. It don't matter
Absolutely.
what you saying from 4 o'clock to 10.
Mm-hmm.
what's happening from 7 to 4, will grab them and pull them in.
Right. Right. Wow. So now, you're in this position where you understand that, you know, I have to do my job and beyond, because of what these kids have to face.
Hmm.
What happens when, or let me say this, gee whiz, man, there's so much going on. What happens when the parent just don't care? Like, what is left for the educator to do? When you see you're trying to bring the warnings, you're trying to take kids under your
Hmm.
wing, but it's just not kicking in because it's foreign to them. They're not
Hmm.
used to someone actually caring.
Right.
So what is left to be done? You know, what can we do?
My my take on this is that's where the community programs come in, right?
Okay.
Because if you think about it, a teacher every year has upwards of 100 students.
Hmm.
Everybody can't get that same, you can't take everybody under your wing,
Hmm. Hmm.
because even after this year, I'm gonna have 100 more next year.
Right.
So that's where things we had like Percy Jackson Youth Center,
Right.
and the Timeout Club and
Hmm.
Kennedy Park and Lincoln Park back then. Now,
Right.
the community has shot up Lincoln Park so many times,
Yeah.
corrupted Kennedy Park. Parents don't want to send their kids anywhere, so the county is not going to invest in it, right?
Right.
There was a time where there were 50 volunteers at Percy Jackson because the county invested in it,
Right.
and it was the place to be. It was
Right.
great for all
Hmm.
of us,
Hmm.
So now, after school is over, the parent that doesn't care, sadly, one day it's going to be a rude awakening. You
Yeah.
have to care. Like, when you made the decision to have a child and bring the child in the world, you owe it to that child to see to it that they have a chance,
Hmm.
you know? And if that means you got to put your life on hold, then put your life on hold, because you always want them to be better than you,
Right.
right?
If right now, I said I want to take you somewhere real quick, and I brought you into a setting with all black fathers,
Uh-huh.
some with the background where they're fresh out of prison,
Right.
some where they understand that, they were violated as a child. So they have issues with communications, others that, had to be the smart one because,
Right.
they got picked on a lot,
Uh-huh.
and then there's the ones that, just a plethora of different issues in the room. You know, being a black man, being a black father, being a black husband, being a black educator, what would you say to them that you can tell yourself, I hope that penetrated to somebody? What would you say?
We got to keep it real with ourselves, right? If you're not a tough guy, don't act like a tough guy. It's okay to be, you know, a bookworm, but just keep it real. You got to understand your shortcomings. If you're dealing with some type of trauma that you suffered as a child, deal with it. See somebody and deal with it. Don't suppress it, because hurt people, right? So, as a man, I DJ in the club, so I see a lot of peacocking all the time. You know, 1 minute
Tell them
somebody's
what peacocking is.
so you see 1 minute
Oh
somebody's
boy.
talking all tough because the alcohol is in them or whatever, and they want everybody to believe they tough. But then 10 minutes later, they laid out on the floor because they
Mhm.
was acting tough to the wrong guy.
Right.
So we got to keep it real with ourselves.
Yeah.
Don't act like you could go into any hood and then find out when you get to the hood that you don't belong there.
Hmm.
Stop trying to put on a show for people. If you
Right.
broke, that's cool. You don't need to have Balenciaga this and Versace that. You're not less of a man for it.
Right.
So it's too much fronting, first of all. Second of all, to answer your question, if I was with a room full of fathers, um, being a father is a lifelong learning process. Some of us have fathers that start us early. Some of us didn't have fathers and learned how to be a better father as they became adults, you know? But don't ever think you know it all when it comes to parenting. Every child is different. Every man is his passion is a different. So it's a case by case basis. There's no cookie cutter
Right.
best father recipe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to know yourself and you got to know your kids.
Right. Love that. Love that. Now, what would you say to us, the mothers? Because, woo, my goodness, what I
Yeah,
see on social media and just like what I shared earlier, men are killing the mothers of their children.
right,
And even as I say it out of my mouth, like my whole chest gets tight because I'm stuttering. I don't know how that has happened. I don't know how we got here. But what would you say, to the mothers who, like I said, another room, full of women who are upset, that they feel
right.
that they've had to do it on their own,
Okay,
or they feel maybe gypped because they had plans and now they actually have to be with the children, or they have become a deadbeat mom, and that is something that's looked upon as like women can never.
right,
Um, and then you have the women who have to strive for excellence,
right.
because of the household. What would you say to them, who are raising our kids? What would you say, to their hearts?
I would say know your worth, you know,
Mm.
carry yourself as a queen and stop accepting mediocrity. You know, a lot of these dudes ain't really about nothing, but they got a woman that's about something.
Hmm.
Either teach him to be about something or leave him alone and find somebody that's about something. You know, you got to be equally yoked. So if your man disrespects you, then you shouldn't be still, he shouldn't be your man later unless you teach him to respect you and warn him that this is his last chance to disrespect you. So a lot of the times when, unfortunately, when these dudes are murdering their mothers or their children, there were signs,
Right.
you know. He might have went upside her head before and she made an excuse for him, you know. Stop accepting that.
Right.
Know that you're worth more than that. You know what I'm saying? You deserve more than that, right? So nobody could flex on a woman who's her own flex. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when you know what you are and you know what you accept and you know what you'll tolerate, nobody could break that.
That's
You
it.
know, um, I don't believe that anybody's in a situation where they're frustrated that they got to do it all that didn't accept somebody that wasn't helping them out. You know, how many times, we see the movie Baby Boy where he drops his girl off at work and they rides around town in the car. Why she not forcing him to go to work?
Cheating.
You
Cheating.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, alcohol cheating
You
too.
know what I'm saying? But just to have a man, like it ain't worth that. Like
Right.
that's you're losing your self respect and your
Right.
dignity. And you got to think about 10 years from later, 10 years from now, where you're gonna be. You're gonna be a career woman with a 6-figure job while your man is greeting people at Walmart. Like,
Well,
what are you doing?
hmm hmm wow, that was good. Thank you, sir. Bless your heart
You're
for that.
welcome.
Bless your heart for that. Bless your heart for that. So, DJ Vic-Lover,
Yes.
Trustee, election is coming.
Election May 17th. If you're in the Hempstead School District,
All
get
right.
out there and vote. You know what it is.
All right.
Vote
So,
for
what
Pratt.
what are you bringing to the table? Give us something. Give us a spill. I don't know how they say it. What do they say? Give us a pitch.
See, the thing about me, like I said, I'm not a politician.
Right.
I don't run on a platform.
Mm-hmm.
I do what's right as it
Mm-hmm.
comes up. You know what
Gotcha.
I'm saying? You
Gotcha.
have people that play politician
Mm-hmm.
and they make decisions based on who's gonna like it and who's not gonna
Right.
like it,
Right.
as opposed to me who makes decisions based on what's right and what's wrong. If
Mm-hmm.
it's right, it's right. I don't care who it upsets,
Right.
you know, and I'm not a politician, so I'm not looking for reelection.
Right.
I
Right.
hope that my work would warrant reelection, but I'm not making decisions with reelection in my mind,
I
you
got you.
know. So
That was the pitch right
that's
there. What you
basically
talking about?
that's
Hello.
basically what it is,
You
you
just did
know.
it. I love that. I love that. I love that. So, husband, father, educator, DJ. Listen, let me ask you this because I want people to really understand being a DJ is a big deal. Like y'all are everything when it comes to the venues and to the memories. Like if the DJ is trash, they don't care how fly the wedding dress was. Like
It
what?
don't matter.
It does
Nope.
not freaking matter.
We create
So
the memories.
I would love for you to share. I'm gonna let you go, but I would love
Okay.
for you to share. Give us something, an event or anything connected to you DJing that sticks out where you like. Listen, I will never forget. I DJ'd at such and such, and I felt like this. Like
Oh my
give us
God.
that, because I know you've done a bunch of
There's been
weddings,
so
and
yeah, there's been
it's
so
has.
many
I know this is
times.
gonna be hard for you.
Um,
Yeah, I might be a little. That's
I would
probably
say
not fair.
one event that really sticks out is damn, there's so many.
That's why I'm like,
All
I
right,
feel kind of bad for this question
let's
now.
take
Uh oh.
Doug Massey, his 50th birthday party.
Okay.
We did it at then it was called Love Jones Cafe.
Right. Right. Right.
About 300 people. And you know, every DJ has an off night. Every
Okay.
DJ tries a song that doesn't quite work.
Right.
That party, every single song, like
Wow.
it was lit from 11 to 4. Never let up.
Yes.
The
Right.
lights came up. People are still like, yo, one more, one more. You know,
I love it. I love it. Love it.
you
Love it.
know. So that's the
That's
energy I
dope.
love. You know,
Right.
because nobody wants to see an empty dance floor.
That's a
That's
fact.
nah.
That's a fact. Oh, that was cool. That was cool.
Yeah,
See, you did good.
I
I'm
tried.
taking my question back. I'm about to take my question back. Nah, you did good. That was dope. That's dope. So, what is next for you? Um, in any avenue, do you want to do more
Well,
things with music? Is there anything beyond being a trustee? Being VP? Is there anything else for the kids, for the wife? Like, what's next for
I'm
Big
still
Pratt,
gonna
DJ
be.
Vic-Lover?
I'm still, whether I'm trustee or not, I'm still gonna be doing it for the kids. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I invested in this big screen. I have movie nights in my backyard,
Love it.
free barbecue for the kids.
Oh, so
I'm
we
always
coming
gonna
over.
do
That's what
that.
he's saying. We
Oh,
coming over.
come through. Tuesdays in the summer.
That's so fire.
um,
Wow.
as far as the music, I don't want to let the cat out the bag
I'm
because
listen. I'm here for the
people be
secrets.
stealing
That's a
ideas.
fact. I just shared something on social media. Like
So
y'all gotta
right,
chill. What? Good for you, Vic. That's
right,
good. That's
and
good.
I'll be on the school board as long as I keep getting reelected.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those trustees that's gonna go kicking and screaming. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if I don't get elected, I ain't
Right.
running no more.
Right. Right. Like, but I'm gonna still be
Y'all,
involved though. You
y'all
can't
made
stop
the
me from being
decision.
involved.
Yeah.
Yo, that is dope.
Yeah.
That is dope.
Right.
Listen, thank you so much, sir, for
Oh,
coming
thank you for having
on.
me.
Listen, I'm
Yes.
super proud of you. I'm excited for
Thank
you. I learned a lot about you today. Um,
you.
and I don't take it lightly. Wow. Listen, T for life, baby. Like, period.
Yo,
T for
I
life.
see
Tigers for
you.
life.
I see
Period.
you.
Yeah,
I'm proud of
period.
you
Period.
too.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So tell everybody where we can find you, where we can contact you for the next wedding. You know what I'm saying? Because the
Well,
weddings is popping. This woo.
wedding's still
Everybody getting
popping.
married. Everybody getting married,
You
child.
can
Everybody.
for for events, it's
hmm
djviclover at gmail.com.
Right.
Anything that has to do with schools,
hmm
victor.pratt at hempsteadschools.org.
Pratt,
I'm
two T's.
yes, Pratt. Yes.
Okay.
I'm very interactive.
Mhm.
Whether you want to know the price for your daughter's Sweet 16, or if you want to know what time night school starts.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I do it all.
Right. Right. Love that.
But
Love that.
catch
And
me on
social media.
Fridays.
hmm
Woodmere Lanes
Oh
and
yeah, with the
backstage
lanes.
happy hour. You know, I'm there every Friday doing my thing.
That's it.
Um, what did you say?
I said social media.
Oh
Social
yeah,
media
social
handles.
media. Yeah, we gotta do that, right?
He's like, what? Oh yeah.
Instagram at
hmm
DJ Vic-Lover. That's
All right.
DJVICLOVER. You need a T-shirt or anything?
Yeah, he got you.
Tiger underscore wear.
Wait, right. Love it.
That.
Love it. Love it. That is that. Listen,
Uh,
everybody, you heard the man. Reach out to him for your DJing purposes. If you listen, even if you want to listen, even if you want to contact him to ask questions connected to the Hempstead, and or it could be your school district. Just because he has a heart for the kids, he may be able to help you out. In your area, it may not have to be be just Hempstead, but reach out to him um, on social media. He gave you an email, gave you his email address. Let's keep Vic busy. Not too busy though,
no
because when I
doubt.
be needing him to DJ, he just be busy. So that's a little annoying for me. I don't
Yeah.
like it. No, I'm just kidding.
Also, if you are if you have experience in administration, education, anything to do with schools,
Okay.
send those resumes in.
Oh yes.
Apply on OLAs, because we're looking for the best of the best. There's no more that, I can't get a job nowhere else, so
All
let me
right.
work here.
Well,
It's time to drain the swamp.
let's go. Let's go. We listen. We up. We doing better
Yeah.
because we knowing better. All right.
Yes.
Listen. You
Yes.
keep doing the same thing and get the same results. So he's saying we
Yes.
stepping it up. We doing something different. So they're
All
sending their
day.
resumes to where? Which
It's
email?
best to apply on OLAs and send the resumes to Hempstead schools. Don't send them
Okay.
to me because I'm not HR, and they gonna feel the pressure if I bring it in there.
Now you say, oh, that's an acronym.
Yeah, OLAS
Okay.
dot com, I think, or org. I'm not sure,
Okay.
but
He'll
if
send
you're an
me the
educator,
information.
you know where to go.
I'll put it in the description when he
Yeah.
sends me the correct
All
information.
right.
But yeah, get your listen, y'all. Listen, y'all gonna stop using excuses. There ain't no jobs out there because he's telling you right now.
Right.
There, yes, there is. Yes, there is. We out here. Okay, we out here with the jobs and everything. All right, I love it. Listen, Vic, thank you so much once again. I'm
Oh, my
excited.
pleasure.
You are officially my second king, as I'm calling it, my second king on the Men Where Art Thou series on Hot Mic with Lady She podcast. Listen,
Thank
ladies and
you.
gentlemen, if you have not yet, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is free. I promise you, I ain't taking your funds. I ain't taking your hard-earned money. It is free. Okay, like FREE free. So it ain't gonna hurt you. It ain't gonna hurt nobody. But check out these dope, awesome men that will be on this platform all month long. I want you to support each and every one of them. Follow DJ Vic on social media. Email him, contact him, whatever question that you have for him. Look this man up. He's good people. Listen, this is a vibe tonight. I'm super excited and I'm thankful, Vic. I promise you. Like, I'm emotional, bro.
Yeah.
I'm emotional.
Thank you
Listen,
for having
listen.
me,
Your
man.
mom, your dad, those around you have done a wonderful job with you.
Thank you.
Listen, listen, sir. I know there's more to come, so I'm excited for you. But thank you, thank you, thank you. Anything else you would like to leave us with? A last quote, scripture, whatever, just in case somebody came on right now and like, dang, I'm at the end. I done missed the interview, and they want to hear
Yeah.
something. What would you say to the
I
people?
just want our brothers to not just call each other kings,
Mhm.
act like kings. You
Yeah.
know.
Mhm. Love that. Love that. Love that. Love that. All right. Go ahead, Vic, man. What? Stop playing with Hempstead.
All
Stop playing with us. Stop playing with us. Listen,
right.
contact him, social media, DJ Vic-Lover, and Tiger underscore where.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
him and the children. They got their own
Yeah.
company. Listen, y'all heard him dropping bars. If you're looking to get your children involved and getting them set, get them their LLC, the EIN numbers is not hard. I promise you. He co-signed what I said. It's not hard. It's not
And it's
hard.
not expensive.
It is not expensive. It's not. So educate yourself and do right for your kids in the beginning. I know some of y'all be out here still trying to put electricity in the kids' name. Stop messing with kids' credit, daggone it. Stop that. Stop that. We just gonna stop that in 2022. We gotta chill. Give these kids a chance. Give them an LLC, okay? Listen, don't buy them Gucci sneakers. Give them an LLC. Put them on early. It's not
Yeah.
hard and it's not expensive. I promise you. I promise you. Don't just go by what I'm saying. Vic cosign. So we got to do better in 2022. It's our time. It is your time. If you trying to do a business, if you got a gift, listen. Vic said he wasn't trying to be no DJ. It was a demand, y'all. Y'all heard me? It was a demand. He wasn't trying to do no t-shirts. It was a demand. And now he went, listen, how much money you making? What you let me hold something, man. Let me hold something. What you out here? Listen, he out here living alright, okay? I promise you. He is doing A-okay out here. So you heard him dropping jewels, talking to the heart of the men, talking to the heart of the women. We gotta take in, we gotta take in information from those who are doing it. We got to be able to take in information from those who are successful and whose fruits you can actually see. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no front and this ain't no I'm one way on Tuesday, I'm a different way on a Friday. You want to deal with people who consistent and their labor speaks for itself. Where he ain't even gotta say nothing, you just see the fruits of his labor. So, get out there, parents, get involved with your children's education, get involved with your children, period. Get in your children's business. You know what I'm saying? Find out what they are doing when you're not around. Who are they when they're in school? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Ask the teacher specific questions so you can learn your child. You may have to pull back and not do overtime for a little while and get to know your child and see what's really going on with them, what's really
Exactly.
going on with them. Get involved. So listen, Vic, thank you once again, for your gifts. Thank you for being an educator. Listen,
No
you
problem.
from Hempstead. Y'all see he running again. When is it? May 17th?
May 17th.
May 17th? Listen, let's go, y'all. Listen, he said I deal with the facts, I deal with the truth. This ain't a popularity contest. I just want to see the
Uh-huh.
work done. Right? That's what he
Right.
said. So let's get it
Exactly.
done, y'all. Let's do the work. And listen, thank you to everyone who came on this live, who came on to support Vic, who came on to support How Mike Related podcast. Please stay tuned for the rest of the month. It's some dope individuals up here, y'all. I'm not just saying it to be cute. I promise you. I promise you. If this is how we started off, it's about to be a movie. So listen, subscribe to How Mike Related podcast, and we out of here. Thank you. Good night.
Peace.
Later.